Welcome to another episode of the HCP podcast. We help healthcare professionals thrive rather than just survive. Today, I am super excited. We are joined by Dr. Cliff Redford, who some of you may know from his documentaries, from social media. He is a veterinary practice owner, a emergency rescue veterinarian as well, and has some fantastic stories to tell alongside all his physical exploits too, being a very active individual. So really looking forward to diving into it with Cliff. And let's get to it. Fantastic. And welcome, Dr. Cliff Redford. Lovely to have you here.
Thanks for having me, man. It's always fun.
Oh, no, we're really looking forward to getting into it. So I did a brief intro, as people listening will already know, but it'd be great to kind of maybe hear you describe yourself in your own words. I have your website open with a big, cool blurb about you, but good to hear you in your own words.
Describe myself in my own words. This will take a while. I'm chatty. Okay, that's it. I'm a veterinarian. I've been a veterinarian since 1998, graduated from Ontario Vet College, and I jumped right into private practice and owning my own clinic a year and a half out of school. So next month, we're going to be celebrating 26 years owning my clinic. I like to think I'm athletic, definitely a weekend warrior, but I try and do it all through the week. And I love learning about how to stay fit and healthy on your podcast.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, 26 years is huge. So, congrats.
Thank you.
For the practice and also, for practicing. I was also looking at the blurb earlier and it was like, 26 years already. Wow. So, yes.
Yeah, I've been a vet more than half my life. I've been a veterinarian, 52, and I graduated when I was 24. So well over half my life, and I love it.
Yeah, definitely seems like you do. From everything I've seen of you, it seems like you love every second, which is, it's awesome to see. So actually, I'm going to jump us straight into our quickfire segment, as I think we'll get some good answers in this. So it is technically quickfire, but it's been known to be the complete opposite of that because we get caught up on what flavored protein bar we like the most. But let's see how we go. So first question is, what's your must-have work snack?
My what must-have work snack? Definitely some sort of protein bar for sure. I try not to snack though. I try and really plan out my meals. If I snack, I get in trouble.
Just you feel like, what happens if you start snacking? It just gets out of routine, or?
Yeah, I go for the junk food. I justify it for some I justify it and well, I just had a really stressful surgery and and so I find like I need to have my square meals. And if I don't make the time not only to make the meals, I don't brown bag it at the clinic. I always bring my own, or I do brown bag it. I don't buy fast food. If I don't take time to make those meals and then take time to eat them, I start eating. And there's so much stuff at my clinic. People bring so much stuff. I had to kick it out of the main treatment area, at least put it in the staff room because, at least out of sight, out of mind. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And protein bars, do you have a preferred brand and flavor?
I like the Cliff brand. Cliff, but with one F. They had the energy bar, like the carb bar. Now they have a protein bar. I generally go with the peanut butter flavor. My kids have peanut allergies. I mean, they're old and they're out of the house, but it was like, my boys are about to turn 27, my twin boys. And so peanut butter was like the forbidden fruit.
Yes.
So I think it's emotional for me and not necessarily flavor.
Yes. Yeah. My wife also has a peanut allergy, which she seems to potentially have grown out of. But similarly, yes, it's pretty rare. I have peanuts in the house. So we do have some Cliff bars, which I was using for the last Ultra, and it was the white chocolate macadamia kind of protein envy ones, which are pretty good. But maybe we should really be lining up for a sponsorship with Cliff.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah,
I'll reach out to my contacts.
Yeah, we should really, you just really should. It'd be very on brand. So, okay, so sounds good on the snacks. Coffee order. What is your regular coffee order?
Black
and nice. Filter, or do you just
I like a drip I'm not too picky, but just black coffee. My wife's Greek, so over the years I've been married to her 7 years, together 9. So over the last 9 years she's kind of said, no, you don't put cream in coffee, you don't put sugar in coffee, it should be black coffee. And she's right. I prefer it that way.
Okay, so no pumpkin spice lattes at lunchtime for you then?
No, not at all. Not at all. That stuff's garbage. No.
Yes. Yeah. Straight black. Can't go wrong. Just, solid straight black works well for lots of reasons. Okay. So do you track your steps?
No, not at all. No, I'm sure I'm over 10,000 every day or whatever the number is supposed to be. No, I don't track my steps. I don't track anymore how much I'm lifting. I don't track. I mean, I'm kind of tracking my time when I run, but not really. I'm a old school guy that goes by feel and how do I wake up? How do I feel? Let's just push it. Oh, maybe not. Let's pull back a little bit. Maybe that gets me in trouble. I don't know, but it works for me.
Yeah, I think there is a lot to be said for when you're an experienced trainer going by feel and like knowing, you know your body better than a program does in many cases. And actually saying, yeah, today I can push it a little bit more, feeling pretty good. I'll go a bit heavier or go a bit further or a bit faster or harder. And other days being like, I need to just take it day to day and yeah, take it easy.
Yeah, and I mean, like you're a runner, and I used to do ultras, and I used to do marathons and whatnot, and I would find if I went out for a tempo 10K or something, it would often be fastest if I didn't clock it.
Yeah.
If I just didn't look at my pace time, my pace watch or whatever back in the day when I used to use those. The problem too is if I had all those stats, I would constantly be trying to beat my stats. Then I would overtrain. So I don't. It's a well I don't want to fall into.
Yeah, 100%. Like data can be extremely powerful if used in the right way, but yeah, it can also be a bit of a sticking point if we're not careful for lots of reasons. I don't know if you've had this, but something with Garmin watches where it can say you could do like, I don't know, you could run your best marathon ever or something, and when you record the session, it might give you session feedback, which might say this has been an unproductive training session.
Yeah.
Shut up, Garmin. I just PB'd my marathon. You know nothing. But
Yeah.
people often take the Garmin very seriously.
I don't do any of that stuff. I have no interest whatsoever. Yeah, I know how fast I am, and I'll beat you on the race day.
Yeah,
that's
fair enough.
That's all I care about. Or I won't. I don't know.
That's fair enough. Okay, when you are working out, do you have a go-to song or playlist or genre?
Well, right now, for the last couple of years, the majority of my workouts have been boxing inspired. My gym, which I'm in right now, my basement gym's got a heavy bag, a double end bag, a speed bag, a jump rope, a treadmill, a little ladder thing on the ground. So I have a boxing playlist, which is basically AC/DC, Metallica, the Ramones, and a Toronto-based sort of punk rock band called Donko Jones. So a lot of bass, a lot of drums, a lot of face melting guitar. Basically, that's my stuff. But if I had to pick one band, it'd be Metallica for sure.
Yeah, can't go. Yeah, solid classic. Can't go wrong.
I mean, I'm 52 years old. Like you could have picked that one out easily. Like
I grew up. Top three guesses.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Do you? Let's say you're doing surgery. Do you have music playing when you're doing surgery? Same thing or different genre?
That's a great question because whenever I have like new team members and they start assisting in surgery or monitoring the patient or whatever, I will put on my playlist and I have different ones and I wait to see if they figure out. So if I'm doing a routine surgery, one where I could almost do with my eyes closed, like a dog spay, let's say, I'll just do like it could be Foo Fighters, it could be Metallica, it could be just good, fun rock, right? If it's intense, but it's not like critical, I listen to soft rock. I listen to like Billy Joel. If it's really, really tricky, I'll put on classical. But the real trick is if I'm in the middle of the surgery and I ask the person to turn my music off, that's when something might have gone wrong.
It's got serious.
And I'm just like, okay, I need every single sensory upload to be dealing with this artery that's spraying and hitting the ceiling. But yeah, so it really depends on what I've got in front of me.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that is a good mix.
Mm.
Sounds like obviously rock is kind of running the thread that runs through, and it's just the intensity of the rock depending on the scenario until it gets to classical, and then it's getting serious.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Is there something you've bought in the past year that's been game-changing for you, whether it be fitness or nutrition related, or just something that helps you day to day in life? Is there anything that's been worth it for you?
Definitely. Before we went on, I talked about how I did a cold plunge this morning. So I bought it's a really cheap, crappy, but boy, does it work, inflatable giant bucket that sits in my laundry room and holds, many liters of water. And then it's got this cooling unit. And then with it also is this steam sauna, which is like a one-person stand-up tent, basically, in this steaming unit, right? So I steam about twice a week, but I've been doing a cold plunge now, 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, depending on how cold the water gets and whatnot, every day for 45 days.
Wow.
And like, unless I'm going on a trip or something, I do not miss it. I make sure I don't miss it. I think it's a game changer. I mean, I thought I would lose some weight. That hasn't happened. And I'm always a good sleeper. But like when I'm done, my creaky old joints are greased up and feeling good. So
Yeah.
I'm definitely, I don't look forward to it at all. And I think that's part of the value, right? You force
Yeah.
yourself to do something that sucks. So I like it. I was originally my goal, because it was only the cold plunge itself was like $400, 400
Mhm.
Canadian dollars, right?
Mhm.
For the
Mhm.
cold plunge and the cooling unit, which is
Oh,
the
wow.
most
That's quite cheap.
expensive. Yeah. Like it was $100 for the bucket and $300 for the cooling unit. And I thought, all right, if I can do this every single day, essentially for 6 months, I'll splurge and buy like a $3,000 unit.
Serious.
Now I'm
Yeah.
like, why?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
working great. I'm short, so I can fit all the way in it and dunk my head, and so it works out well. So I'm gonna save the money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, I think the big thing with cold plunge is ultimately it's, if it works for you, then awesome. Like, I think it's, for things like fat loss and kind of goals like that, it's the classic thing of it's sort of there's maybe minor benefit for fat loss, or like if you're shivering for like something like that period of time. But as you know from experience, one donut will blow any fat loss,
Anything.
or will blow any impact that 3 minutes did. Unfortunately, from a fat loss perspective, it's much more. I think I have a similar experience where Jim has a cold plunge, and I do it, but not because I'm necessarily looking for performance or recovery benefits from it per se. It's more that actually I just like the sensation, and I tend to feel quite good afterwards. And doing a bit of contrast between that and the sauna, like you're doing with the steaming, I find also helps me feel pretty good. And yeah, just in kind of a quite sort of refreshing, good
Well, there's got to
experience.
be, yeah, there's got to be a dopamine hit.
Oh
You
yeah,
must be getting a dopamine hit
yeah,
from it. Yeah, I'm going to assume that's the case. And I like, because again, I do boxing and I compete in this, I call it amateur old man's division, because we're all about the same age, because that's the rules. I like to think that this is going to toughen my mind,
mm,
and build scars in my psyche that will help me push through a difficult round or something. We'll see. We'll see. I haven't had a match since I started cold plunging, so we're going to see what
see
happens.
how it feels. Yeah, yeah. I think there's definitely an element for the sort of the mental side. In some ways, I think sometimes people will allude to it being the doing of it itself, almost like the hardship of building mental toughness. But I think it's more the um, ability to focus, that's sort of almost the thing you're developing, and the skill you're gaining, or be able to focus when things are screaming at you, or where it's you're completely in a you're towards the end of your boxing match and you're really out on your feet at this point, and it's still trying to keep going and focus whilst that's
Hmm.
still happening. I think it can be definitely beneficial for that side of things as well. So it's yeah, I'm a fan definitely for just if it feels good, do it.
I think
That's
it's
the
good to
thing.
do tough things. It's
Yeah,
good to do tough things. So there's some value in that for sure.
totally. Alrighty. So next question: what is your favorite dessert? This is probably the most important question.
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake.
New York. Yeah,
New
it's
York
got to be
cheesecake.
New York cheesecake. Yeah, like cherry cheesecake, graham cracker crust. I don't want any Oreo in it. I don't want any butterscotch. I don't, just give me a cheesecake. Yeah. Yeah. Purist. 100%.
And that does sound good. Yeah, I think you're the first person to say cheesecake. To be fair, it's
What?
yeah, you are the first one to say cheesecake, I think, so far. So that's
I
one for
love it.
cheesecake.
I absolutely love it. Now, my wife, again, being Greek and a great cook, she's starting to the Christmas cookies are called korabiedes. Oh my goodness, we call them cocaine cookies because they have sprinkled powder or powdered sugar on them, but
Yeah,
they're also addictive like cocaine. That comes a real close second. So there's a lot of
yeah. I
good
think
food out there.
the thing with cookies as well is when they're so good is that they're just so easy to just grab and be like, oh, just have another one. You've had like
Yeah,
5 cookies and you don't really feel any different. Whereas like cheesecake, at least you're sitting down and having that
it's
thing, or
heavy
it's
and
more of
it's
a concerted
heavy,
effort to
and
sit down and do
yeah,
it, isn't
that's
it? You
true.
can't just grab it.
That's true.
Yeah, cookies are like, I used to bake cookies fairly often. I do really like a good cookie, but yeah, the danger is it's just like, oh, I'll just grab one or two. Particularly our daughter is 18 months old now. And it's very easy if you're looking after her and in the midst of food and everything to suddenly be just like, oh, I'll just grab a cookie to kind of tide me over for the next 3 hours of running around or whatever. Actually, I've had like 5 cookies today and didn't necessarily need 5 cookies, especially homemade ones.
That's a lot of cold plunge.
Yeah, there's a
to
lot of
burn
cold
that
plunge.
off. That's a lot
Yeah,
of cold plunge.
indeed. It's yeah, cheesecake's a choice, solid choice. The last question of the quick fire segment is: what's your biggest frustration with maybe the fitness or health space, if you have one?
Biggest frustration. I don't really have one, and it's because I'm not a part of that. Like I'm not a part of teams. I go do my thing. I go to the gym. I box. Maybe like I see, like even when I see ads that are trying to push the new and latest thing, I don't really pay attention to it. There's nothing like punching a heavy bag to get a good workout and to get your stress out. So I'm a pretty chill guy in the sense of I don't if something bothers me, it's not a part of my life. I don't look at
Yeah, it
it.
just
I don't
passes you
listen
by.
to it. I just walk away from it. So, yeah, I'm sure there's something out there that I don't like, but I don't care to know about it. So that's what keeps me sane.
Yeah, that's fair. It's whatever you're gonna do to keep you sane. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of stuff out there in the fitness space. Yeah, just letting it pass you by, I think, is often the best thing. I've
Hmm.
learned to do that. Whereas in the past, I would see things and I'd be like, I need to be like, this is really, this is bad science or whatever. Whereas
Well,
now,
it's
you know,
your
it's
field,
hard to,
you know?
yeah, but it's, the problem, with the way social media works, it's, can be, you almost draw more attention to the thing you were trying to say is bad sometimes by doing that. And you're like, actually, I've added to the problem. So it's tricky. So what I'd love for us to do is to just dive a bit more into like how you got into kind of fitness and health, maybe your journey through fitness and health, and also how you've combined all that with obviously your career and running your own practice or hospital, should I say, as well as the rescue missions you do and that sort of like how do you combine the two? So probably a good place to start, I suppose, is when did sort of fitness or sport or kind of looking after your own health, where did that start for you? Was it from childhood you've always been doing it, or was it later in your career?
No, I mean, I was a good Canadian boy, so I played hockey. Goalie, of course, because I prefer to do solo sports as much as possible. But I was, I'm the youngest of three, and my brother's super athletic, my older brother. And I was a chubby kid. I wasn't interested and concerned about it. And then the summer I turned 17, job for 10 weeks way up in northern Ontario as what they call a junior ranger. So we
Yeah.
basically planted trees and cut down trees and built bridges, and like it was hard labor.
Yeah.
Some of the kids there were juvenile delinquents, and it was like, we're going to send you to jail or go to this
Yeah.
thing. So they chose that, which was, smart. And when I came back, although I hadn't lost any weight, I had lost 6 inches on my waist. And everyone was just like, who are you? And all of a sudden, I liked it. I liked how I felt. I had my mom during that summer. My parents were part of my life, but they weren't together. So I was living with my mom. So she had moved. So when I came back, not only had I lost a bunch of body fat and put on muscle, and my hair was long and bleached blonde from the sun, and I had a tan, we had moved to another city. So I decided, I literally was like, all right, I'm not going back to who that kid was. It was like an after school special movie where I was like, I'm going to become someone new. I'm not going to join the choir. I'm not going to play Dungeons and Dragons anymore. I'm going to start doing sports and lifting weights. And then it just snowballed from there. And I mean, I got into marathoning just on almost like a self dare, and found I was quite good at it. And I realized, I didn't know it as a kid, but I realized I loved pushing the limits and doing cool stuff. It's just, went from there and just went on and on. And then as I got older, I realized, oh, there's also a health benefit to this. Let's see how long I can live.
Yeah. Oh, very awesome. So I know there's ultra marathons you've done in the past.
I've done a few, yeah. The longest is 50 miles, so 80 kilometers, nothing too crazy. And in fact, when I did that, it was my last one. My longest was my last marathon of any distance because I knew I was slated for a hip replacement. I had competed in judo for many years and ended up banging up. Both my hips are a little messed up due to genetics, but the left hip, which is the one you land on a lot if you're right-handed, I got a hip replacement 4 or 5 years ago, so no more ultras. Yeah, I've done ultra, I've done adventure racing, 36-hour adventure
Wow. Okay.
racing, 13-hour Spartans. Like I really like the long distance stuff. But now I do 3 90-second round boxing matches.
Yeah.
Nice and short.
Short and
But
sharp.
going short, yeah, going short. But I got back into my wife's an Ironman triathlete,
Yes.
and I started to miss it and really enjoy it. So I'm going to do an Olympic distance next summer. So now I'm back to running,
Yeah.
which is good, which is fun.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so, yeah, you've got triathlon coming up. So yeah, the obstacle and adventure course racing and ultras and judo as well. Did you do any other? I suppose hockey kind of is a contact sport, but aside
It
from
is the
hockey
way
and
we
judo,
play it.
aside from
It is
those
the
two,
way Canadians play it.
any other sports in that list as well?
I mean, I've done so many and a lot of martial arts, and it was mostly because of me being a chubby kid and growing up in a rough area. So Taekwondo and Aikido and whatnot. But judo was my love. I don't do it anymore, and now boxing instead. You know, I played soccer for a couple of years, but it was always like triathlons and Spartans, and I did some powerlifting for years. I do enjoy just sitting down and pushing iron, sticking on an old 80s action film and just see how much I could lift. Though I'm getting the heavy weights, I'm pushing them away, putting them in the garage because, I'm realizing I'm not going to chase the Schwarzenegger frame anymore. I got to save my shoulders.
Yes.
But yeah, I you know what? Name it, and I've probably done it for a season.
Yeah. But I think it's very cool. I think one thing that it shows you're not afraid to give a new sport a go or try something else. It also just develops as a athletic background. Tried out lots of other things. You kind of developed other skills, learn different things that you can kind of take and put into your other training that you do. And it's it's just good life skills all around. Doing judo has lots of things that I think are beneficial around the flexibility, the strength,
it's so good,
all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and surfing. I should have brought up surfing. I got into surfing. Yeah, I got into surfing. Like, I did one of those vacation surf, 2-hour surf lessons, right, years and years ago. And I thought, hey, this is really fun. Maybe I'll do this when I retire. And then the pandemic hit. And I'm thinking, why wait? Like, I should start learning surfing now. And I did some research, and I'd heard that there was surfing on Lake Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is there surfing, but like sometimes I'll go out there and there's like 10 people out there. So there's a surfing community in Toronto. Now, the problem is the waves don't occur in the summer. They generally occur from now until March. So we're out there surfing when it's below zero. So, giant, thick wetsuits. We look like chubby penguins, giant penguins out there. But I'm going to Costa Rica for my first true vacation where I'm not volunteering in many, many years. I'm going in January for 5 days, and it's 100% just to surf. My wife's going to sit on the beach and sit at the pool, and I'm just going to surf all day for 5 days. I can't wait.
Perfect. Yes, that does sound brilliant. Yeah, I've been to someone recently who been surfing in Costa Rica, and yeah, they've had a fantastic time, just a week of perfect waves. So yes, very jealous. As a similar sort of situation, not quite as cold, but certainly still pretty cold in Scotland, and surfing here is often few and far between in summer, but much better autumn and winter. Spring, kind of lucky to get any good swell in the summer. But we do have a surf lake that's opened, or an artificial surf lake that's opened on the outskirts of town, which is actually very good. So now gives you year-round perfect waves if you want them.
Are you in Edinburgh?
Yes.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming. Actually, Scotland's on our list. It's like probably going to be the next big trip. Probably a year and a half from now. We hear that March is really good in Scotland. Is that like it's a really good, not too rainy?
Got through the depths of winter. It's not as wet-ish, not as cold.
Yeah, but is that not like what would be the best month to go?
It also depends what you want to do in Scotland. If you're going to travel in the Highlands, that sort of stuff, it's a good time because you're avoiding peak summer. Because peak summer, there's a lot of tourists, and also mid-season in Scotland. I don't know if you've ever YouTubed midges in Scotland, but it's kind of horrifying.
Yeah.
Depending on the weather and season, if it's the perfect kind of prelude of breeding ground,
I'll do March
can be midge clouds everywhere. So March is a good time. Edge of winter, either end is good. Summer is lovely in Edinburgh, but it's also super busy because of the Edinburgh Fringe Festival that goes on.
Right.
The population, I think, more than doubles overnight when that happens.
I mean, we want to ride bikes, we want to see castles, drink beer, and apparently now surf. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward
March
to
is a great time, which is a very good time.
Beauty.
Yeah. So we'll need to link up when you come.
100%.
But yeah, it's definitely lucky with the surfing. Okay, lots of different sports, lots of not just small things either. Like ultras are not short on time requirements to train and prepare and do. How did you balance that alongside also running your own vet practice?
Yeah, great question, because there was a time, like now it's easy. My wife's got her own gig. Her son's 19. All three of my kids are out of the house working. Like it's easy now to find the time. But when they were younger, my first wife, the mother of my children, was very supportive. When the kids were really young, I'd load them up in one of those pushing strollers, trailer thingies, trolley thingies, whatever, strollers, pardon me, and, take them out for 2 hours. So that gave everybody a break, and they loved it. My big thing is, I'm an early riser. Like I'm up at 4:15, so I study a bit of Greek, so I can speak to my in-laws in Greece.
Yeah, kind of spell Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I know a little
Thursday.
more, but
Yeah, that's about my
yes,
2 words done.
perfect. So yeah, I study my Greek and then I train because it never happens. I think I have a quiet day at work and then something happens and it becomes busy and I eat junk food. So it's early morning and then weekends I drag out the distance and the time. But it's a priority. I'm miserable. If I miss a day or two of not being active, I am miserable and I am not fun to be with. Maybe that's why my wives, girl, have always been supportive. They're just like, you gotta get out of the house. You are being a jerk. That's my secret. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it's I think you touched on the key thing there is you've always made it a priority. I think that's
Yeah.
the biggest thing that often I try and get across to people who talk to you around. They want to start getting into health and fitness maybe, and they've just never someone who's been super active, haven't grown up being active, and it's not just a case of you do it 3 times a week and it's it needs to be it's like a background priority for you to just be doing it. And okay, I missed it today, so maybe I'll plan to do it tomorrow or the day after. But you'll tend to always make it happen because it's important to you, I think, is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think often for some people, it's more that we need to get to a place where it feels important for us to do it, or it feels like one of our priority list or the top 10 of the priority list to get it done. Is
Yeah.
often a shift to make it happen consistently over time. If you don't care, that won't happen in many cases.
It's really easy for me to make it a priority because I really enjoy it, right? Like I don't play video games and generally most of my TV watching is when I'm working out, which often doesn't happen because I'm listening to the playlist that I mentioned. Like I really, really enjoy it. So I'm selfish. I said I want to go surf. Today's a good day. I'm gonna go surf, and 5 days a week hitting the pads or getting in the ring and sparring. Like I always enjoy it. So
Yeah.
it's easy to find time.
But I think enjoyment is a huge part as well. Obviously, and I think it can be that often I say to people that running is not for everyone. For as an example, running
Yep.
is huge right now on social media, and it's pretty big, as big as it ever has been. But I see a lot of people who now are trying to get into running who actually really don't like it, but are mainly getting into it because they feel like they should be because it's what everyone else is doing and run clubs and all that sort of stuff. It's like,
Well,
well,
it's a great, like running's a great fitness. You're going to
yeah,
lose
yeah.
weight and it's going to do this. Like it's efficient. But
yeah.
if you don't like it, you're not going to do it enough.
Yeah. If you don't like it,
So
you don't have to do running. There's plenty of other activities you can do that you should try, which you might love.
that's the key. Yeah. Is find something that you want to do, not something that you should do.
Yes. And I think also it's important to realize, and as somewhat shown by your sporting background, just because you're doing something now doesn't mean you have to now latch onto that sport solely for the next 30 years. You could do it for a couple of years, enjoy it, get something out of it, and be like, okay, cool, I've kind of done it now. Actually, I want to go try that other thing. I want to try surfing. I want to try lacrosse or Zumba or whatever it might be, the form of Pilates. But it's, just, you don't have to be latched onto that thing forever as well, I think sometimes. And it's good socially too, like trying a bunch of different things, a bunch of different kind of people that you would otherwise never meet, all that sort of stuff that can be good about, just trying new things. Yeah, I'm always a big fan of like, you don't have to run. You don't have to do high rocks. You don't have to run. There's plenty of other things you can do too that are out there, which are also fun and good for your health. Okay, so it's always been a priority for you, which I think is one of the biggest things. And you've always tried to do things you enjoy and tried new things, which definitely is important. Do you find your enthusiasm for health and fitness spreads into your colleagues at the practice?
There's definitely been some over the years. Again, I've owned my clinic almost 26 years, so I can think of several team members that when they first joined my team weren't into fitness at all, and then sort of got a little bit inspired and just said, "Oh, I'm gonna train and do a 5K." and I'm probably going to walk some of it, but that's all I'm going to do. Okay, yeah, that's great. And we go out and we cheer them on, and then of course that person 3 years later is running a marathon, and part of it is I know what's going to happen for most people. Right? They're like, oh, I'm only going to do this once. Yeah, sure. I gotcha. But like, even I have a technician, Arthur, he's been with me 13 years and, struggled with anxiety and depression and was never really into fitness, for his life. That, his family sort of would consider it a waste of time. But he slowly started getting into it. He ended up doing boxing and did just a single match. And
Oh
he's
yeah.
probably never going to do another one. But first of all, his shoulders got bigger and he just, he looked so much better. And we all commented about how less stressed out he was and whatnot. So I sparred with him and helped him get ready for his match. So yeah, it definitely filters. I can't seem to get the nutrition though. That's one thing. Like, if they want to eat donuts, they're going to eat donuts. I can't seem to. And they keep offering, I guess they're being polite. They just keep offering and no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. And then I go and I sneak one later on. But I was justified. So yeah, it definitely helps. And I mean, not only at work, but just life and family members, and I think as long as you don't push it on people
Yeah.
and they see the enjoyment you're having, then everyone wants to look for enjoyment, right? Like, everyone wants to find something fun to do. So, it's certainly not going to discourage them, and maybe it will get them to do some of it.
Yeah, I think fitness can often be a one where sort of leading by example in a way can often help it sort of filter in various forms of people, or just encourage them, as you say, to find that thing that they might
Mm,
enjoy, or even just want to give it a go, or give them the courage to give it a go at something they've maybe thought about, but just need that
yeah.
nudge to go do it. I think
Also, and I'm also thinking, like, as I do less and less hiring and put it to like my office manager and my technician team and whatnot, but I get much more interested in resumes when there's a list of hobbies and the hobbies are fitness related and not just, health and fitness, or I go to the gym, but I am a marathon runner, or, some of my best team members, and now some of them have left and they've gone to veterinary school. One of them is in Edinburgh, one of them's in England. They're like competitive athletes.
mm,
The veterinarian I just hired, she graduated out of Royal from London just
mhm,
4 or 5 months ago. She was a team member before she even got into vet school as a front desk staff member. She was a like national level tennis player.
right,
So I'm finding I'm getting attracted to hiring those types of people, which
mm,
totally makes sense because they know how to manage their health, they know how to manage their time, they know
mm.
how to be committed to something. It's not just, you're not an average person if you've done a marathon, or if you've competed in a boxing match, or if you go out and surf when it is -5 Celsius. You're not an average person, and I don't want average. I want a little bit on the fringe.
Yeah, yeah, screw loose in a good way.
That's right. Yes, yes.
That's kind of what you're looking for. That's the thing, totally. How about with, well, I suppose nutrition. So I was going to say about nutrition is in the workplace is always a tricky one. I think the way
Hmm.
I sort of try to describe to people when I have similar discussions sometimes with people in medical practice as well. Whereas with fitness, it can be a bit more straightforward, or you can do like kind of group things and other stuff. Nutrition is often so much more individually
Hmm.
challenging for, like, with emotions and everything else. How someone else thinks about food and how they've been raised around food and what they eat and don't eat and how they like, don't like. All those things are so individual and complex and unique, and the systems around food and all kinds of stuff. There's an interesting diagram, infographic, or map I'll share with you, which is sort of called the obesity systems map, but it's an extremely complex mapping of the factors that influence how someone eats and what they eat and all that sort of stuff. When workplaces try to then do things, even when well-spirited and well-meant, it can be really tricky. It can be fall flat or be hard to really make much of an impact because it's just so complex for individuals for a variety of reasons. And as I say, people also want to be polite. They want to make things and kind of make people happy by bringing in homemade food or donuts and that sort
Hmm.
of stuff too. It's always a tricky one to manage. Yeah, I think fitness is always one where, and with nutrition too, sometimes try to kind of lead by example or just show how you do things can sometimes help people think about how they could do things or where they might want to try and improve or get better. So it's, yeah, all you can do is lead by example, I think.
It's tricky. People will comment. I'm the oldest guy in my clinic, oldest person, and you know, I I could honestly say I have more stamina and energy than every single one of them there for different reasons, but they'll comment, they'll be like, "You're so old, Cliff. How do you have so much energy? How come you're not damaged? How, you're not injured? How come you can get up at this o'clock in the morning or whatever?" And then they'll stick a donut in their mouth, and I will try and explain to them, like, even though you're only 30 years old, like, that makes a difference. Nutrition makes a difference, and how much did you sleep last night? And all these things make a difference, but it ends up there's too many emotions involved, and then do people think that you're calling them overweight if you make a comment about the food? So yeah, I go, okay, thanks. I mean, I guess I just work hard and eat clean and that's it. And then they're like, okay, great. But it's touchy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Food is
touchy,
a
and
yeah, food is a tricky one. I think leading by example is the kind of often the only and best thing you can do in in workplaces. It's I say can be complex. One thing I want to ask you around as well is so obviously you've stayed consistent and it's a priority for you. I think is the sort of primary driver. What do you find the hardest about staying consistent? Is it time or energy or the logistics or something else?
it's always time. It's always time. Energy's there, even if I'm not feeling energetic. I'd rather have a crappy workout than no workout at all. I think you had said consistency is better than perfection, trying to get perfection. And I'm definitely not perfect. So it's always a time issue for me. And that's why over the last decade or so, and again, I've been training since I was 17, the last decade or so, I've really said, oh, maybe I should stop trying to fit it in the day and do it in the morning. And look, it means I have to go to bed at 9:30 so I can get up at 4:15, but I like those mornings now. It's awkward on Sunday mornings when both my wife and I wake up at the same time. We'll sleep in until like 6 a.m.
Yeah,
and we wake up at the same time, and we're both in the kitchen at the same time, and we're both getting in each other's way. She's like, "Can you just go downstairs and work out?" So the big thing, yeah, time is always the issue. And especially, like I've got this 3-hour Ironman coming up in 6 months, and hopefully sub 3 hour. It'll definitely, I'm going to make a claim. It'll definitely be, so I'll be disappointed if it's not sub 3. But, so working out for an hour is not going to be enough. I'm going to have to start doing some 2.5 hour bricks and things like that. Yes, hopefully things start to calm down a little bit. Today would have been a day, but again, my kids are coming over, so we're gonna have a good time, good barbecue. So I'll make sure it happens.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? You make it a priority and you'll get it done. And I think if when you're someone who's always done sport, you just get used to getting things done around it.
Yeah.
In whatever way it might be to just make it happen.
Yeah, and there's that classic saying of I don't have to do this, I get to do this. And I'm lucky. Like I miss marathon running and ultra running, but I know my titanium hip and the other hip is going to go. So the doctor said, "Look, you could keep running, but, maybe you should pull back on the distance." So and I remember having to take time off. I blew my cruciate in judo. I blew my Achilles tendon. I separated my shoulder. I've got a lot of injuries, all on the right side of me for some reason, from judo. And so I remember those times where I had to sit out for a month and heal, and it sucked. So, I'm lucky. I'm blessed. I get to do these things.
Yeah. Do you think being fitter and stronger has helped you as a vet?
Well, yeah. But yeah, not only like, first of all, I don't feel burnout really. And some of that is, I honestly believe, is my body as a machine. Like I'm able to handle when work becomes long, I'm able to handle it without sort of crumbling, both physically and emotionally. Now, I also absolutely love my job, and feeling fulfilled is a good shield against burnout.
Yeah.
But like it sounds silly, but I don't lose my cool when I get punched in the face in boxing. Like I know how to stay calm. I know how to control my breathing. And judo has definitely taught me that. So I don't lose my cool when something goes a little bit wrong in surgery. Like all of that stuff makes a difference. Yesterday, Saturday morning, I go into work and the computers are down. Like the software is not connecting to the network. And we got a full day. Like it's going to be jammed and we can't get medical records. We can't can't do anything, right? Now, by the time the first appointment was done, it had been fixed, but we didn't know if it was going to be fixed. And this one new team member had said to me afterwards, she's like, my boss at the other clinic before I came here, at the old clinic, would have been screaming and swearing and yelling and freaking out, which obviously doesn't help. And she was like, you're so calm. Well, you know what? Surfing and boxing and judo and running and cold plunging and all these things, they just keep you calm, and I think sort of get you focused and help you realize, if there's nothing you can do, there's nothing you can do. Pull a high guard and take a couple of shots and then get out of there, right? So it's the same sort of things. Yes, it 100% makes a difference. Society really pushes and promotes like mental strength and intelligence, academics and whatnot, taking care of your mind, but they don't push taking care of your body. And in fact, some people, if you see a man or woman who's, especially a man, if you see a man who's really big and strong and obviously spends a lot of time in the gym or doing sports, people will assume he's a meathead. But it's possibly the exact opposite. Like my brain is not going to be very useful if I have a heart attack or a stroke, right? So all of this stuff, I think, maximizes our emotional strength, our intelligence, staying calm under pressure. Yeah, it can't be overstated.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm guessing even physically, I imagine as well, probably judo came in handy when you were maybe studying veterinary and you maybe had to wrangle cattle or sheep or, other large animals or even just a large dog. I imagine it helps a little bit being a bit stronger and, manage.
I remember, so I got into vet school in 1993. So it would have been the first year we were learning like sheep husbandry, and we were taught how to sort of lift a sheep and get it on its butt so that it's sitting up, right? And my friend Callie, who's in England right now, who just got into vet school, the high-level swimmer, she sent me a photo of her and her sheep, right? And it brought back this memory, as just like you said, is I remember doing this, and they were teaching us how to do it, and within a second, I had it done. And everyone's like, how did you do that? I'm like, well, I'm a orange belt in judo. I just did a little lift and sweep and boom, and just use momentum. Yeah, and look, we deal with aggressive animals, and having fast reflexes really helps. All of that stuff's beneficial. There's a lot of veterinarians at my age that have bad backs from trying to lift animals up onto the tables. Well, I still lift animals up onto the tables, but I know how to do it right. And, I train for core strength and that posterior chain and all that sort of stuff. So, and I know when to ask for help, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, it helps with everything. There's no doubt. Like, people need to do it.
Yeah, I think it can give you, it gives you physical capabilities that can make you more useful sometimes when it matters, whether that's lifting a larger dog on the table or just helping restrain a larger animal or whatever it might be. It's just, extra help, or getting you down a well when you're on a rescue mission or...
We're heading to, in a couple of days, we're heading to Jamaica to volunteer. The whole West Side's been devastated by Hurricane Melissa. And I'm sort of warning the two technicians that are coming with me. Look, this is going to be hard emotionally, but this is also going to be hard physically. Like, you got to be ready, long hours, and, we might be doing some manual labor, so to speak. So yeah, it all helps. And definitely if you find you have to rappel down a well in India to save a dog before it drowns like I did, it helps.
Yeah, it's that's something, physical, strength is never a weakness. To quote, I think one of the fairly well-known like strength coaches, and it's true, like it only helps you in life, whether it's in work, in sport, or actually just doing DIY or whatever it might be, getting the groceries out from Costco or something. It's all, it all helps you not pull you back and just be more useful. So yeah, definitely good wins. And I think, Jamaica, as I'm just looking at the temperatures, I imagine it's going to be high 20s potentially.
Yeah.
And fairly humid. So things like, long days, having some good stamina, probably some electrolytes if you're going to be on your feet all for long days, all that sort of stuff. It's, let's take it out.
I'll do Red Stripe beer. That'll be my electrolyte. We'll see. AG1. I don't know. Cliff bars. I'll be packing a whole bunch of protein bars.
Yeah.
Just in case.
You should. I mean, you need to contact Cliff.
I'll reach out.
I could see the ad now. Dr. Cliff, you want a rescue mission, sponsored by Cliff.
Perfect. Perfect.
So last couple of questions I'll take you through. So if you could give yourself, or if you could give maybe veterinarians or vet students starting out, what maybe would be your piece of health or fitness advice for them?
If it was one thing, it would be eat cleaner than you are right now. Don't order your food. Don't get the pizza. Don't get the sub. Don't go and get the chicken and fries or whatever. Like bring in your own meals and plan it. Look, physical fitness and activity is super important, but we all know that health is made in the kitchen way more than in the gym. The gym just looks good, maybe. So that would be the big thing. And I guess it's mental health. Like, recognize how blessed you are to be doing this job. Burnout is such a problem in our industry, and so many veterinarians, the majority of veterinarians, are not encouraging their children to be veterinarians because they're not happy with their profession. And I think they need to, if they're coming out of school, they need to remember, maybe journaling or something, but do something to remember how joyful they feel graduating and finally getting to do this career that's a calling, because there'll be times in your future where you're possibly gonna regret the decision. I've never had that, but I know it's a real issue. So take care of your mental health as much as your physical.
Yeah, I think it's super important. One, it's very similar across human medicine as well, with people I speak to there, and around maybe not encouraging their kids to be a doctor, instead different career paths in tech or something else potentially, because of just the stress and overwhelm and that sort of stuff that they can often feel. And it's I think reminding yourself why, and getting the adequate support and all that sort of stuff as needed is definitely important to do. On that topic, I suppose, is there a small habit or ritual that you do every day or every week that helps you stay kind of grounded when things get really hectic and even the classical music has to get turned off?
Yeah. At the end of each day, and I used to do it formally, and now it's just like a natural part of my thought process. I look back at the day and I realize that pretty much all the animals that came to my clinic left in a better state. Maybe they left protected against rabies. Maybe they left, with some pain medication for arthritis. Maybe we had to euthanize them and they left and now they're, at the Rainbow Bridge and they're not feeling pain. They're not sick anymore. So that's what sort of makes the tough days still feel very fulfilled as my rescue dog jumps on my back. Hey buddy. So yeah, that's a big thing, is recognize that we have such great positive outcome with these animals that it allows us, or at least it allows me, to ignore the people that are mean and grumpy.
Enough. I have actually two questions left. I was going to ask you one, but I'm going to ask you a second one now. How many pets do you have?
Yeah, how many pets? I just got attacked by Mr. Bo, who turns a year in a couple of days. I have 3 dogs. We have a Labradoodle, who's almost 9, and then the other 2 are both rescue dogs from the Arctic North. I've done some volunteer work up in the Arctic Circle. I always go in January. I'm the only guy crazy. They need vets up there. There's no vet, and they're like, you're the only guy who comes up in January. So I have 3 dogs, yeah.
Okay. And lastly, where can people find you online or follow along with what you're doing? Is there going to be another documentary coming out soon as well or anything?
Yeah, great. Definitely Instagram at drcliff worldwide vet. That's pretty much all I do. There is a YouTube channel that's youtube.com/drcliff, but I haven't posted in a while. So the big one is Instagram. There's no documentary coming out soon, but there is a book. So I've been writing about all of my travels. So I guess it'd be called a memoir. It starts with Jamaica, ends with me going to the war in Ukraine. So it's like a prequel to the documentary. And it's I signed with a publisher. It comes out worldwide in about 10 months. So
Amazing.
you got to have me on so we can talk about it. I'll get you a copy.
We can have on a second episode. You'll be sponsored by Cliff by that point.
That'll be the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah. That'll be cool. And we can hear about how your triathlon goes.
Yeah.
The other sprint triathlons that you're probably going to do after that. You'll probably ticked off a few by that point. So yeah, sounds brilliant. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been fantastic having you as a guest. And I think, there'll be quite a few vets listening to this, getting some good insight and inspiration into kind of how they can make it a bit better on their kind of health or fitness, or just think about how to manage it a bit more. So yeah, thank you for coming on.
Well, I appreciate it. And it was great being here. And I love what you do. I mean, helping us type A class overachievers, but sometimes stubborn medical professionals take care of our health you're a godsend. It's a tough job, I think, that you have.
Yeah, for my sins. I love it. I love it. It's all good. It's just like helping people. Well, that's the thing I do because it's like helping people who are my family are all medical,
Hmm.
and so it's just like helping them. That's my thing. So
Yeah,
yeah, happy to help.
appreciate
Cool.
it.
All right. Well, thanks, Cliff. See you soon, and we look forward to having you on for another episode.
All right, cheers.